Okay, so now that we've said a little introduction, I'm going to talk about just a couple of things that I think are pretty important in terms of financial literacy that you need to go ahead and take care of early on. And one of the first things that you need to learn is the idea of a budget. A budget is where you decide how you're going to spend the money you have, and you also have an idea of how much money that you have. So I know about what I make every month. I'm on my particular job. I get a paycheck every month. There's a few things that can vary in my income and a few other things that I'll do extra or things, and sometimes some things might be missing. But I have a general idea of how much money that I'm making. I also know the things that I have to have. I have to have electricity. I have to have water. I have to pay for my house payment. I have to have insurance for my cars. I have to have insurance for my house. I actually have a list, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. I'm actually going to talk about balancing a checkbook, but I keep a list that I have written up that just kind of has a list of all the different things that I have to pay every month and how much they cost. And so, but to design a budget, you sit down first, look at your income, look at your expenses, compare those. And folks, if you ever have a budget that has more expenses than income, that's not a good budget. You always want to take your budget and you want to have more income than expenses. If your expenses exceed your income, then that's a problem that's not going to work, at least not forever. You might get by with it with a month or two. You may have some surprise bill or something, a doctor's bill or something that comes up that you're not used to having. And so you might have to have a little extra money. What's a really good idea is if you save in advance, so you have a little extra money ready so that when those unexpected expenses occur, that you have it. But one of the first things that I would absolutely recommend that you do is design a budget. Now, right now, you're still in high school. You're probably still living with your parents at home. Perhaps your bills are smaller, but you think about what bills you might have. You may have a cell phone bill, both to buy the phone itself and maybe to pay for the service. That's something. Maybe if you have a car, you're going to have to put gas in it. You may be paying the insurance on it. You may be making a car payment. I don't know what your bills are, but what a lot of people do, and this I think is really a mistake, is they just get paid and then they just spend money and then they just hope it's all going to work out and they hope that they've got enough to cover their expenses. A much better way to do it is to have an idea of how much money you make, to set out and lay out all your expenses and how much you're going to need, and then make sure that you pay those. I mentioned in the introduction video that as a school teacher, I get paid monthly. So I just get paid on the first of every month, except for in the summer. I get paid in June, and I get my July and August check as well. Just because I have all that money in the month of June doesn't mean I can go spend it all in the month of June, because I'm still going to have bills in July, I'm still going to have bills in August, and I got to make sure that I plan for that. So I'm going to write those things down, and I'm going to enter them into the checkbook, and I'm going to show you how to use a checkbook in just a few moments. And I'm going to balance my checkbook, make sure everything's good, but I got to have my budget. I know how much money I make, I know how much money I have going out, and then I might do some other things that are also important. Put some money into savings. Sometimes you can do that automatically. The job that I have, there is a retirement plan that they automatically take out a certain percentage of the income and put it in. Then I have an additional plan. Most jobs it would be called a 401k. It's a little different in a teacher plan, but it's along those same lines, where I set aside a certain amount of money every month that goes into a fund that tells that's going to grow, and it goes into mutual funds. So that's another thing that you can do, but planning in advance is a good thing. Right now, it's June the 28th. I know that I have to pay July and August bills. Most of my bills, I set them up to be due on the first of the month, or somewhere from the 1st to the 5th, somewhere in that first week. And then I go out and I make all my payments for my bills up front. To me, that's important. My dog's making a bunch of noise, so I'm going to pause the video for a second, and I'm going to go let the dog out. And then I'm going to come back and work some more. Okay, I apologize. I'm back now. I had to go let the dog out. Anyway, the main concept of having a budget, just knowing I've got some money. I know how much I make. I know what I need. I've got to spend it and make it last. So making a plan. And I guess if you're going to talk about budgeting and financial literacy, a plan is as big a part of this as anything. You're in the Upward Bound program, and we're trying to prepare you to get ready for college. Having a plan when you're trying to decide what you want to do going forward with your future. Do I want to go to the community college and work on a certain 2-year degree? Do I want to go to a 2-year college and then move to a university? Do I want to start in a university? Do I want to go through the military? Do I want to enter the workforce and have certain things? And there's all kinds of options. Upward Bound is encouraging students to move towards college. That's what we're looking for. But the idea of having a plan and having an idea of what you want to do goes a long way. Specifically in financial literacy, having a budget and a plan and knowing what you want to do goes a long way. So in the next video, I'm just going to take a few minutes and give you a little snapshot of what I do when I'm paying my bills. Now, obviously, I'm not going to give you all the numbers and all these kind of things that show up on the account work, but I do just want you to have an idea of what I do whenever I'm trying to balance a checkbook and keep up with those things.